Injuries, injuries, injuries. My team is absolutely rife with them at the moment. I'm going to talk a little bit about my plan to deal with them in this Game Week 12 team selection. All right, we're going to start then with a little bit of chat about how my team got on in Game Week 11, just as a quick reminder. I scored 40 points. I'm currently in 271k overall. So despite injury problems in my team, and in some ways I could get a little bit frustrated with how things actually went for me in Game Week 11, because I think I didn't get a complete rub of good luck in that game week, but I'm still in a decent rank, so I'm not going to get carried away or anything. You know, with negativity, I'm in a fortunate position, I think, at the moment. Defensively, there's not a whole lot to talk about there. No clean sheets across my team. Obviously, Arsenal shipping 2 goals to Sunderland. The main thing really with my defence was Mark Gahey. Absolutely no sign that he would be injured going into Game Week 12. And on the telly, before the game on Sky, Glasner revealed that Mark Gahey had a bruise to one of the bones on his feet. And he wasn't actually walking properly to that point. He was on crutches. He left the England camp. We'll talk a little bit more about that, but he's left the England camp as well to return to Crystal Palace to continue his rehab. So I'm not exactly sure what's going on with Mark Gahey at the moment. And obviously, Glasner revealed absolutely nothing about the injury in press conferences or anything. Midfield, Iliman and Jai, 3-pointer. Fernandes with an assist. Saka with a goal. Semenyo missing a penalty for Bournemouth. Enzo Fernandez with a clean sheet. Mateta, a blank obviously against Brighton. And Haaland missed a penalty, but as my captain scored 8 points because he scored still. I don't really need to go into too much more detail about this team. I've done 2 transfer plans videos already, so that probably, we'll leave it there for now. 40 points, 271k overall. Right, so usually in a team selection video, I'll reveal like position by position and go through the team slowly. But with this one, there's so much to talk about with the current status of my team that I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to show you what my team looks like currently, and then we'll work out how to deal with the injuries sort of together, if you like. By the way, if you've got any suggestions for me in the comment section, I'm always interested to hear it. Okay, so Gabriel, so he picked up an adductor injury playing for Arsenal. There's an insider Twitter account that has suggested it's a minor tear. I have a feeling that Gabriel might be out for a couple of weeks. So I think he's, of the 4 players I've got that are flagged, he's probably the one that needs the most attention. Because Gahey, he obviously missed Game Week 11, but he's had a couple of weeks already to heal from that foot bruise. And I have a feeling he'll either be back for the Wolves game or back for the United game. So I don't think Gahey's going to be out for anything more than another week. Semenyo is an interesting one because there's a mixed reports about why he left the Ghana squad. One of them suggests he had a minor injury, and another one suggests that it was for personal reasons. There's a lot of speculation on Twitter about Semenyo over the last few days. It was also his anniversary on the weekend that he left the Ghanaian squad as well. So could personal reasons be that? You know, could he be injured, or could he just be going home early so he could meet his wife for the anniversary? And then also Enzo Fernandez. I'm pretty sure that Enzo Fernandez should be good to go for Game Week 12. So that's the injuries. Say, you know, the Semenyo one doesn't exist and he's fine. The Enzo one doesn't exist and he's fine. And Gahey is back in a week. I could just start Anderson over Gahey. Anderson's playing Sunderland at home. I don't think picking him is the worst thing in the world. So that probably suggests that Gabriel, if that all plays out, Gabriel is the one that needs some attention. And I think, for me, I could go for another Arsenal defender, sure. But we also had Timber looking like he picked up something playing for Holland. I think he was absolutely fine during the game, but he had a knock. Calafiori left the Italy squad, but he looks to be okay. Saliba's obviously had injury issues earlier on in the season as well. I'm not 100% sure that the best replacement, in my opinion, for Gabriel is another Arsenal defender. Now, I look at the Liverpool defence, right, who I admit have been nowhere near Arsenal's level in terms of goals conceded, right, or expected goals conceded or anything in terms of quality of defence. But I do really like their fixtures coming up, and there's one player in particular that I really like from Liverpool, and that's Virgil van Dijk. 5.9 million, so he would replace Gabriel quite nicely in terms of budget. I think I would have enough budget to buy Gabriel back fairly easily. Gabriel hasn't gone up by a whole lot in value since I've owned him. That's the only thing that could hurt me on Gabriel, to be fair. If I make too many wholesale changes to my team, it could become a point where I can't actually afford to bring Gabriel back. That is an issue that I could face. So I think if Gabriel is out for a couple of weeks, I have got Gay who's an issue. I could potentially move him on for Van Dijk. And there's another thing as well for Liverpool for me, is beyond that, they've got just such a good run of fixtures. So they've in the next three, they got Forest, Sunderland, Forest, West Ham, Sunderland, Leeds, Brighton, Tottenham, Wolves, Leeds, Fulham. So they've got, I would say, a really good fixture run right until the new year. So that's kind of where I'm at the moment with my team. Well, that's where I'm at with my team based on the most likely scenario of injuries happening. But that might not be the case. If we're in a situation where, say, Gabriel, Guehi, Semenyo and Enzo are all out, then I might have to deploy a certain ship. And I'm also looking at future game weeks, right? And I'm wondering, where is there going to be an opportunity for me to use a free hit? And I just don't see it. Like beyond game week 13, I plan to use my triple captain on Haaland against Leeds at home. You can see just under his name, Leeds at home in the next fixture. A lot of people, I think, probably eyeing up a game week 13 free hit because Arsenal play Chelsea, and a lot of people on Arsenal players, it's not necessarily the best fixture for Arsenal. But I don't feel like that. I feel like I want to use the triple captain instead. So I don't see a week where I can use my free hit. I've got 4 players that potentially flagged, and also I would say Semenyo is not in the best form at the moment. Enzo Fernandez has been disappointing. I have a sneak feeling that Arsenal could concede to Tottenham. And also, I'm not entirely sure Newcastle away is the best fixture for Erling Haaland either. So all of that together, I could use my free hit. And just quickly, before I get into the free hit team, I just wanted to talk to you about the FPL Cartel, an exclusive members-only group I've started with my good friend FPL Tom. In the group, there's a private Discord with both myself and fellow YouTuber FPL Tom. We're giving you FPL team advice as often as we can possibly log into it, which we're finding, hopefully people are finding useful already. And there's also an exclusive weekly podcast that's only available to Cartel members. That's coming out on Wednesday. So if you want to catch that, make sure to check out the FPL Cartel. We get you 30 days of a free trial to start off with as well, using the link top of the description below. Okay. So that's my little ad out of the way. We're going to look at my free hit team then. And I've made a couple of drafts. I think I made a draft and a short about my favourite free hit team. But some of them have Gabriel in them because I didn't know he was injured when I made the video. And some of them have Semenyo in them. And obviously Semenyo is potentially injured. And I think him being out is one of the other reasons I play the free hit too. So my goalkeeper and defence is looking like this at the moment. I'm going for Petrovic and Senesi in a Bournemouth double up. I think Bournemouth have got a good chance of keeping a clean sheet against West Ham. They got one of the best clean sheet odds I've seen for the game week. Senesi is obviously a beast for DEFCON points as well. Van Dijk already bigged up the Liverpool defence, and him as an option. I think I probably have to go with him, don't I, as a result of doing that. And I've also gone for Munoz, who, with Wolves away as his fixture, I know Wolves have got a new manager now in Rob Edwards. But I think Munoz could do pretty well in that fixture. He's obviously got good potential, I think, for a clean sheet. And we all know how good he is from an attacking point of view as well. So I think as backlines go for a free hit, that's probably my favourite and the one I'd go with. All right, midfield then. And these are the 4 that I think I will go with. So I'm not necessarily using this as a free hit guide for you because this team is quite expensive. And I've got a few players that I've picked in here that have risen in price, or I think basically I'm just in a good position financially in FPL where I might be able to afford this team and you might not if you're watching this. So maybe the one player I think I could downgrade if you're looking to maybe copy or take inspiration for this one is maybe Saka. But I'm going Salah, Saka, Bruno Fernandes and Bumo in the midfield. I think you have to if you're free hitting in game week 12 because you don't necessarily back the Man City fixture against Newcastle. Now I'm definitely not saying that Haaland is a bad option and the fixture of the Newcastle is too tough, right? I'm not saying that. I'm saying it's one of the reasons. It's a multi-factored reason why I'd use my free hit, and that's one of them. But whilst on my free hit, I'd be absolutely terrified of not owning Haaland, right? So Salah with Nottingham Forest at home. Saka with Tottenham at home as well. I think The thing is with Tottenham is I don't think they are that strong defensively, and I'd back Arsenal to do something against them. So I'm picking Saka. And we've gone for Bruno Fernandes and Brian Mbeumo. I think Bruno Fernandes is my favourite Man United FPL option, and it's been talked about on Twitter and in the press this week how good of a record he has against Everton in terms of attacking returns. I don't necessarily read too much into players' records for certain clubs, but Bruno Fernandes does seem to score every time he plays Everton. And Brian Mbeumo is the form man for Man United at the moment, certainly from their attack. And a goal-scoring point of view, I think he scored 4 in his last 4 in the Prem. So yeah, he's looking really, really hot and dangerous, so I'm going for him. No Semenyo, of course. I essentially guess Semenyo would be replaced by Brian Mbeumo in this team. And if you look at my 11, going into this week, Enzo Fernandez and Njai are out as well. And Enzo Fernandez because he annoyed me, and Njai because he's playing Man United away. And I think it's quite a tough fixture. That'll be quite a tough fixture, tough game for Everton. Even though, Njai, it doesn't really matter who he plays with, his DEFCON points, etc. But I think my logic still stands on that. Up front, I'm going to go for a front 3. I'm going to pick. I've got the 2 players the wrong way around. I just noticed Thiago and João Pedro. Forgive me. Mateta playing Wolves away. Thiago, who's obviously got Brighton away, and João Pedro, who's got Burnley away. That's the front line that I'd go with. I saw in in the free hit video that I made, I had Szoboszlai in my midfield, and I was saying, well, you could swap him out for Igor Thiago if you wanted to. I think I want to. I want to make that move. I think Igor Thiago, Brighton away is his fixture. I don't think Brighton are the most resolute of defences, and Thiago's just in such good form for Brentford at the moment. I'd back him over Dominic Szoboszlai, so I've picked him. And to be honest, in general, we'll go back to my team just quickly. I think one thing for me on Enzo Fernandez is I think if I were to get rid of him from my team, the best replacement for him isn't necessarily another midfielder at that price point. I think the best replacement for Enzo Fernandez is Igor Thiago, and I'd get to him by changing the formation of my team. And that would also, not that it really is worth doing with AFCON coming up, but it would also free up a little bit of cash for me to maybe, I could actually, if I sold Gabriel for Virgil van Dijk, I might actually be able to buy Gabriel back if I sell Guehi. So I'd be able to keep Van Dijk in my team with that extra cash, if that makes sense. Just a few things that I'm thinking about at the moment, just long term in my team. But I definitely have Thiago on a free hit. I'll fix the graphics for this screen. So this is the summary, basically, of the free hit team in Fantasy Football Hub. So we're on, I think, 66.8 expected points with a 96% AI rating. Obviously, Salah is going to be the captain of this team, given, well, he's the best option available, isn't he? Oh, the real downside to this free hit, it's obvious, is it doesn't have Haaland in it. And I'm definitely approaching this rationally. I'm not saying that Haaland is a bad option for game week 12. I would never say that. He absolutely terrifies me not owning him. And that would probably be the reason that I don't play the free hit, because I don't know, there may be ways where I can get Haaland in. He's basically, the problem with Haaland is now he's basically 15 million in the game. Not that he's 15 million of value to me, because I bought him, I think, for 14.4, something like that. But still, it's going to be really tough for me to build a free hit team with him in it also. I think if there was a way where you could build a really, really strong FPL team with both Haaland and Salah in it, I'd be all over it. But I'm not entirely confident that there is. Maybe going for Chris Richards over Munoz, downgrading Saka to someone a lot cheaper. Maybe I could go for, a really bargain basement midfielder who I still think has got a good fixture or something. And then that might allow me to get Haaland in up front. Maybe. That would probably be the ideal, but I haven't made that team yet. I haven't tinkered enough to build a team like that I'm happy with. I guess all I can say is that's kind of where I'm at with my team. We need more updates on injuries and stuff in the press conferences Thursday and Friday for me to finally decide what I do with my team. I do think the free hit is a valid option for me. I'm not saying it's the best. I think I'm in between those free transfers and my free hit at the moment. Hopefully you can understand my doubts and reasons for that. What else was I going to say? Yeah, I guess all you can really do from this point, take this video on board if you want to see what I'm doing with my team, and then watch the deadline stream on Saturday, really, because that's obviously where I'll make my final decisions on what I'm going to do with my team. Yeah, if there is a way to do a free hit with both Haaland and Salah in it, though, that's probably the ideal for me, because yeah, I quite like the idea of using it this week. That's what the chip is there for at the end of the day, when your team has got a load of injuries in it, and I've got 4 players that are flagged. So yeah, let me know in the comments if you've got any suggestions on what I can do, but that's pretty much where I'm at the moment. Alright, well, I hope you enjoyed that video. If you did, please leave me a like rating. Like I said, let me know in the comments if you've got any suggestions from what I can do with my team. You know, I never claim to be like some FPL expert or anything like that. You know, I've got a decent rank at the moment, but ultimately I'm a YouTuber who talks about FPL, so I'm always open to people suggesting things that I could do with my team. Sometimes I find the comment section really helpful, to be honest, so, well, sometimes pretty much every video someone leaves me a really helpful comment that makes me think about my team, to be fair, so I'd be grateful if you've got any suggestions for me. And yeah, if you haven't already, please subscribe to the Golden Goal channel to see some more content from me, and I guess see what my team actually is going to end up looking like before the deadline on the deadline stream. And yeah, thank you very much for watching. See you in the next one.